What's the biggest thing I learned after switching gyms? So, to give you a little backstory, I was with my home gym in the Bay Area. I'm in Sacramento now, obviously, but I was in my home gym from the Bay Area for like since I was from 8 years old up until like 23, maybe 24. So like a really really long time. That's like the only gym that I really trusted, the only coaches that I trusted. Um, but you know what's crazy? Once I did move gyms, I started noticing like big, small things, but collectively, they're big things. Like, um, well, first and foremost, the I guess you could say like the school of boxing at Flawless is way more advanced and way more developed than the school of boxing at CYC, which is my old gym. Um, and that has to do with the coaches, obviously. I started noticing that I had no technique, I had no form, I had no um, good like habits. I had a bunch of bad habits actually, and I mean my conditioning was good, my heart was good, and I was a tough kid. But it only goes so far in the pros and amateurs. You can get away with a lot, but as a professional, you need good technique, you need good defense. Oh, that part I had no defense, man. I was just coming and trying to throw a hell of punches. So that's the biggest thing I noticed is that my defense got better, my technique got better. I started learning again. I remember my old gym I plateaued for a long, long time. Probably longer than I even realized, but I almost realized too late. Like, I really almost realized too late. I could have still been there right now. Still haven't, like, I feel like I did a whole 180 when it comes, well, not to my style, but like to me as a fighter. Technically speaking, like, I feel like I'm a completely different fighter now. A lot better defense, a lot more calculated, definitely well more developed for the pro style. At CYC, I was just an amateur legend, really. Like that was it. I would just throw hella punches, and it would overwhelm me because it's only 3 rounds, and that was cool enough for the amateurs. But for the pros, that's not gonna last very long. You know, after 4 rounds, you're going 6, 8, 10 round territory. That's not gonna last anymore. It's not gonna work against the higher level guys. So, um, the biggest thing I noticed after switching is that my defense got better, my technique got better, and I started learning that part. You must feel like you're learning. You gotta feel like you're accepted. That part too. I feel like I really was accepted at Flawless. Not that I wasn't accepted at CYC, but my old coach. Again, I hate talking bad on people, but like my old coach just like constantly put me down, and I just felt like I lost all forms of confidence. At Flawless, um, not that the coaches are hyping me up, but like my the community around me is huge. Like they all support me. They all think that I'm this great boxer and a great person, and I really feel like I'm giving back more than I'm learning, which is good. You know, I want to still be able to give back while I'm learning. At CYC, I felt like I was just giving back, and that was it. I was just plateauing, plateauing, giving back. And for me as a professional, that wasn't gonna work very long. Like I really could have still been stuck in that. Thank God I was smart enough to realize that I was not learning anymore. These people that were handling my career were actually damaging it. If you know, there was nothing good for my career. Now, what I do notice is that as a professional, I'm in charge of my own career, not my coach. It's up to me. I'm the one in there taking punches, so I'm the boss. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I don't. It's not like I tell my coaches what to do; they tell me what to do. But when it comes time to like take a fight, when it comes time to choose this way or that way, that's up to me. So I did notice a lot of freedom. Um, I did notice a lot more control of my own career, which is really really good, obviously. And I feel like I was freed. I feel like I was like a free agent again. And yeah, dude, like you need to find a gym where you feel accepted and where you feel like you're learning. If you don't feel like you're learning, if you don't feel accepted, then your growth is extremely limited, and you probably won't learn much. I think the reason I'm making this video is because I made a lot of mistakes before finally switching over, and I almost switched over too late. So hopefully that doesn't happen to you. There are a lot of gyms out there, a lot of boxing gyms. There's a lot of old school coaches, which that can be really good or really bad. Um, Mine was a little both, but it was more bad towards the end as a professional. I just, again, it's the same shit every day. I was not learning anything. We're doing the same thing every day, and it was just so repetitive that, like, yeah, that's the name of the game. Repetition is the mother of all learning. But like, you do need to practice other things, and not just the same two or three things. Like, we were just practicing the same two or three things, and that was it. Like, at Flawless, we have a focus, a new skill focus every week. And that week we focus on getting better at that skill. It could be footwork, it could be head movement, it could be the jab, it could be the double jab, it could be body shots, uppercuts. It could be, there's so much to boxing that, like, why the hell would you focus on just one thing for the rest of your life? You gotta work on everything and get be very well rounded. So I'm making this video hopefully so that someone sees it, and I'm not telling you to leave your gym. I'm just saying, like, if you think you're in a bad spot, this is your sign to leave and find a new gym. But how do you find a gym? That's a little bit hard. That's something I can't really quite answer for you. But what I did learn is, I mean, if you've been boxing for a while, you can kind of gauge the environment of the gym. At Flawless, I felt that these people knew what the hell they were talking about. Obviously, Coach Brandon knows what the hell he's talking about. He walked the walk. He had a great amateur and pro career. So that part really sat well with me. And another piece is that he's just a lot more modern when it comes to both social media and his boxing. Like, boxing, I feel like it's always evolving. It's always, it's new moves, new style. Like, it's always something different with boxing. Like, boxing is an ever evolving sport in the sense that, like nowadays, the people that are winning, I don't want to start a whole nother side topic, but like, I feel like the people that are winning now are more athletes than actual boxers. Like, obviously they're still boxers, but like, whoever's a better athlete is the person that's winning. And not that might sound like it's irrelevant, but my coach, like, he's actually well versed in the sense of like research and what's working today that can make our athletes better, stronger, faster, versus like, hey, like, I had this work for me 30 years ago, so I'm gonna keep it the same and make all of my guys do the exact same thing. Like, sure, they'll get good though. They might even get decent, but like, there's so much new research, there's so much new technology out there that, doing the same exact thing forever is just insane. Like, we're always learning something new at Flawless. Always, always, always. So if you don't feel like you're always learning something at your gym, you're probably at the wrong one. If you don't feel like, you know, your coaches are paying attention to you, you're probably at the wrong one. If you don't feel like you're cared for or like you have a meaningful spot in that gym, you're probably in the wrong gym. Not that I even felt. I mean, I did feel some of those things at CYC, but um, you gotta gauge it for yourself. You gotta listen to your heart and really listen. Like, is this the place for me? Assuming you want a serious boxing career, assuming you want to take this up, even just like a serious amateur career, you need to make sure that your corner and your gym has got your back and has your best interest in mind. Because the old gym that I was at, they did care for me, but they didn't really have my best interest in mind. They had their own best interest in mind. Um, which I don't know. I guess they could feel entitled to have that since they put in the work from scratch. But at the end of the day, I'm the one taking punches. So don't be afraid to be selfish and put yourself first in boxing, because boxing is not a team sport. It's one man and that's you and your opponent. So drop this all up. Train at the gym where you feel like you're learning. Train at the gym where you feel like you're listened to. Train at the gym where you feel like it's the right gym for you, and you're gonna, I can't tell you how to figure that out. You're gonna have to kind of like figure that out for yourself. Of course, do some research and ask around, like, hey, what's this coach's experience? To what level did they reach in their amateur pro career? Because if they've only made it, if they only had like 20 amateur fights, like that's kind of like the limit of your learning, you know. um my coach had like 20 or less, almost 20 pro fights, and he won all of them except one. So obviously, and he was like number one in the amateurs before turning pro. I was number two, so like I was right there behind him. um I'm not comparing myself to him. I think he's, honestly think he was a way better fighter than me, but um it feels good to know that I'm learning from somebody that's more skilled and somebody who's walked the walk. um yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure you find the gym that, you know, cares for you, you're learning, you feel comfortable, and you feel like you're not platooning. That's all I got.